Good morning. Here we are, looking like a range day. Clearly a double bottom, clearly a double top. I'm not going to go back that far. Looks like there's some kind of news event here at 8:30 a.m. Got a shorter term uptrend with a break and new high. Downtrend gets two legs up and then a break and new low. Looks like we surpassed the measured move just a tad. That's pretty close to two legs down though. And we're now working up higher. Something that looks like that. And that's it so far. So I'm expecting prices to go from the overnight lows up to the overnight highs. There's clearly the uptrend working up, so I'm looking for some sort of pullback to the EMA. Instead of calling this stream live trading, I should just call it like Drew watches the chart and does nothing. It'd be more accurate like 99% of the time. Probably more, actually. More than 99%, I would bet. I mean, considering what I've done actually nothing, it would be more. It'd be 100%. All right, continuing to just work up the opposite side of this uptrend. Looks like prices are playing the midline here. Coming back to this main trend line, let's see if prices are able to hold. And we get a close through the trend line, so I'm looking for a break and a new high. Hoping to have two legs down to the EMA here. Short-term downtrend that just got broken here, or it looks like it's going to get broken. Looks like a slight close outside of that and a move to a new low. So if we get a good signal bar off the EMA, I'll probably be interested in taking it. It's not a very convincing close outside there, but I would say that it
Order submitted.
Probably is. So if we tick lower than this bar and then we get a nice signal bar, And that's not what we get. We get a close below the EMA, so that's not what I was looking to see right there.
Order canceled.
Looks like maybe this downtrend is still intact. We are moving lower pretty strongly right here. So I'm no longer interested in a long right now. I might be after this correction either plays out or sort of dies down a little bit, but right now this is pretty strong. So let's say if we got a higher low above the EMA, I'm not going to take that. I'm not looking for a short either because you still have the break and new high of the uptrend in play. So it looks like we're probably going to push up and through the EMA here. There might be an overshoot of that downtrend. That's a pretty strong push right there. Okay, that's a really strong push there. It looks like this might be an overshoot of this downtrend. If there's a higher low, I probably will take it because that was a strong push above the EMA. It's also possible this was just a break and new low there. So maybe this has played out. So I am actually looking for a higher low above the EMA right now.
Order submitted.
What I'd like to see is a bearish bar here and then prices to tick lower and then turn up and constantly build on themselves and close on the high. Get a doji bar. So if you've got two bars stacked, we might see some congestive action right here. Okay, still looking for a good signal bar above the EMA. Looks like we are going to get two legs to a new high and probably won't get a chance to enter. And that's right. That's exactly what we get right there.
Order
so
canceled.
I'm no longer looking for a long. Though we don't have the new high here. It looks like we are just about to make it. They're collecting the trash outside, so it's probably pretty loud. Right, short-term uptrend, break new high. Uptrend has played out. I'm looking for prices to come up to the overnight highs now. We've reached the measured move of this short-term uptrend. Let's see if we're able to continue. Looks like there might be a slightly wider uptrend right here. Maybe something like that, working up. Now that that's broken and we're moving higher, if we continue to move higher, then I'll start looking for a measured move similar to this leg. And that would put your target all the way up here. But before prices get up there, if they continue higher, I want to see what happens at this overnight high right here. Because chances are you're going to find resistance at this double top before you're able to move higher like that. Assuming you do move higher, because now this uptrend has played out. So now I'm just waiting to see what's going to happen. It looks like this uptrend was in play and we'll probably get a break new high of it. Got a double top. Gonna mark that for future reference. And there's a chance you get a second entry long off the EMA. I'm not interested because you already have a break and new high of this uptrend, and it's a lower probability bet to be taking a break and new high of a retest trend. Plus, this really just looks like one leg down. This is a double top, clearly. Okay, we're finding some support at the EMA. There's a chance you get a second entry long here. Got to think about whether I'll be interested. Probably not, considering what I just said there, where there's already a break and new high of this uptrend here. So you're playing the retest trend still, though this is sort of tempting. If there's a good signal bar here, that would definitely be a tempting entry. I just think there's better bets out there. They're doing some yard work outside. It's really loud, so I'm confident the mic is picking all that up. Some pretty loud yard work out there. So we're clearly hitting a congestive area that we just broke out of here. Expecting that to push prices out of the resistance. So it looks like the congestive area has just expanded slightly here. Maybe not. Maybe this is just a breakout pullback and now prices are heading lower. Looks like there's some sort of trend working down. It could be like this, but it also could be a spiking channel, if there is a trend. So let's see what happens here. Clearly the uptrend has played out. You didn't quite reach the overnight highs, but prices are turning down and looks like there is a structure working down. So if we touch off this opposite side and come back to the main side and get a setup off the EMA, that's somewhere that I might be interested. Okay, it's looking like this downtrend is going to possibly hold here, so let's see what happens as prices return to this main side. Definitely a possible setup here. Getting a congestive area. The short-term downtrend has a break and a new low now. I don't know why I just thought about this, but I had a dream that I was watching Minecraft videos. I never watch Minecraft videos. I don't know why I've got a little cough going on. Okay, so now you have a very convincing break new low of the short-term downtrend there. So you can basically see that as a short-term downtrend, then some congestion, which leads to a break and a new low, and prices are bouncing off of the opposite side of the larger downtrend right there. So I'm looking for prices to head back to the main side and possibly get a setup off the EMA. That's what I would like to see. I actually got really good sleep last night, so I went to bed an hour earlier than I usually do. I was sitting up and thinking, what am I going to do? Am I going to study, or, what am I going to do? And I was like, look, I'm really tired. I'm just going to go to bed. And I did, and I feel great. Yesterday, I was feeling really groggy. I think it was like a sleep hangover, or, sort of carried over from not getting great sleep. All right, let's see if we get, maybe this is a wider, or not as wide of a downtrend, steeper downtrend, like I initially had it there. It looks like that fits pretty well. So let's see if prices are able to pull back. They are just heading steadily lower here. Steadily lower. I feel like I can't clear my throat right now. It feels kind of funny just to be like talking to nobody. But at the same time, it's nice to be talking at all. I don't know. It relieves a little bit of the boredom and the, I don't know, whatever. Okay, we're getting a pullback here. See, with this stream though, I have no doubt that if I just keep doing it and I start putting big dollar signs on the, whatever it's called, the thumbnail, that people would probably come. But I don't know if that's the goal too. I mean, for one, it's just nice to be held accountable. Like, I know that I'm putting this out live and I can't take a trade and then just kind of sweep it under the rug, like, oh, I didn't take that one. It's like, no, it's out there. It's getting posted no matter what. So we have a possible overshoot with that short-term downtrend, but chances are it's just an expansion. So I'm looking to see if we'll get two legs back to the EMA and the trend line here. That would be the ideal setup for me. Although sometimes, or most of the time, I don't like to take the next touch after a possible overshoot, because lots of times after an overshoot, prices will break the trend line. And sometimes it's hard to tell if it's a true overshoot or not before you end up holding the trend line or not holding the trend line. So the short-term downtrend is getting a break and a new low. It has gotten a break and new low. pretty cold in the house right now. I want to go grab a sweatshirt, but I know as soon as I do, there's going to be this just like golden perfect setup, so I have to wait until there's like absolutely nothing going on. So just to look at this on a slightly broader scale, so we were not able to reach the overnight highs right here, which shows me that the bears might be in control here. There might be more selling pressure. This might be a bearish biased range, so prices are working down, and it looks like they're probably going to test this support. So I want to see what happens once we test this. There's a good chance that we break it after not hitting the highs here. And I originally drew that measured move up, but there's like, I mean, it's obviously not right. We continue to move lower here. I put that there just in case we continued to move higher after this break and new high already occurred. Goes back to like what I was talking about yesterday. It's like I'm looking for something very specific in very specific context. So like the setup is specific and the context is specific. So like having these two things happen simultaneously is very rare, and it involves lots of sitting and waiting, unfortunately. I think everybody would like a setup where you're taking lots of trades and you have an edge on each one of those. But unfortunately, I have not been able to find something where I'm taking a ton of trades and I'm also hitting at a high clip. The best that I can do, the best that I have done, is basically this setup where I can't remember the exact win rate that I was hitting in the past, but it was at least profitable. If I try and take all those fancy, crazy entries like Mac is taking, I just I lose. So we got this break and new low of the short-term downtrend. It looks like we might have confirmed the opposite side of this downtrend. The larger one, I mean. And we're bumping up against it again. So let's see if prices are able to turn up here. I'm hoping they'll turn up and we'll get a setup off the EMA, but it's not looking very promising. So we are overshooting again. It looks like prices are just going to trade straight down to the overnight lows. This is something that I call striving. And it's when prices will overshoot or go further than you're expecting a certain level in order to reach a target. And I'll see this pretty often whenever prices are working their way towards a horizontal support or resistance or some type of gap, even sometimes a break and new high, where it's like they'll like artificially go further than the structure in play allows for. So this downtrend, you would expect prices to come back to the main side before they come down. But they want to, or this is what it seems like to me, prices want to come down to this low and test this low so badly that they end up going further than they really should go in order to do that. So this one really looks like an overshoot to me now. We're getting a pretty strong little uptrend right there. Let's see what it looks like if I were to expand this. It doesn't look any better than there. Looks about the same either way. We're getting close to the support level, so if we get some sort of pullback to the EMA, I'm probably not going to take that now because there's this possible overshoot and we've already come down to this support zone. So probably not going to be interested there. Prices are moving pretty quickly today though, so I'm hoping that maybe there will be a setup. At the very least, it's a lot more interesting to watch whenever prices are moving faster. So just one thought here, I think a big reason to use the 2000 tick chart is just because of the speed. Like it's not too fast, it's not too slow. Maybe whenever the market slows down, it makes sense to take the tick size down and bring it to something where it's like at a good pace, So like obviously in the mornings, it starts really high. the volatility starts really high and prices are moving really fast and there's lots of bars printing, then as the day goes on, it sort of slows down usually. So maybe you decrease the tick size and keep it at an adequate pace, like as fast as you can handle comfortably. So that way there's more possible setups. I don't know, it's an idea, but it'll probably lead to lots of fake outs. I think that probably just comes from me being like tired of not taking any trades, to be honest. They generally come in batches though, the trades too. So like whatever it is, this period that we're in, it's not very conducive to the trades that I'm looking to take. That's okay, because the period will change. So here's a possible failed breakout of a congestive area. So you can see there's some type of little sideways congestive area. We're breaking out of that and it looks like 2 legs back. So let's see what prices do once they come off of this main side right here, if they do. Would I be willing to take this setup? Maybe. I know earlier I said that I wasn't, but this is a pretty I don't know what the word I'm looking for. Pretty tempting setup here. So let's say if we move sideways, this would be a failed breakout, and it looks like 2 larger legs up, coming off of 2 key levels. So
Order submitted.
If we get a good signal bar here, I might be willing to take that. Let's see what we got. Doesn't look like we're going to get the setup that I'm looking for. It's possible this downtrend is a little bit steeper. Maybe we've already come off the downtrend there. Possibly. Let's see what happens. One thing I need to be careful about is overfitting, which is something that I'll do sometimes. So I'll sort of, change around my trend lines and stuff to match a trade that I want to be able to take. Not necessarily because I think that that's the way that it is. So possible, but prices are definitely moving sideways here. We'd have to see some serious down movement. We're not getting it. Move this back just a tad. So this is what I mean by overfitting. Like, am I changing this downtrend so that way it fits the trade that I want to take, or do I actually think that that's where the downtrend is? Regardless, it looks like we're about to get a break of it. There might be some sort of uptrend working up there. Got to be careful of that. I'm gonna remove this order. Prices are looking really congestive here. So it looks like we broke out of this level and we end up holding the resistance as support right here to create that sort of little congestive area. Uptrend didn't end up being correct. Looks like we've broken this downtrend, so I'm going to move it back to like right here. I don't think, if you move it up to like here, it doesn't really fit well. But let's say if that's a touch right there, that's an overshoot. So downtrend, overshoot, leading to a slight break. That looks pretty good to me. Not interested in a trade now. Nothing there that I want. The trade that I might have been willing to take is like if this really acted like a failed breakout, you got a nice juicy signal bar right here off the EMA and the trend line, and there's like this little failed breakout. That's more so what I'd be looking for. Looking really choppy and congestive, so I'm gonna go grab a sweatshirt real quick because I don't really see anything that I'm interested in right now. It's all just really choppy. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. I'm on the 3rd floor, and I'm thinking the AC might be broken up here. The heat, rather. Because go downstairs and it's not nearly as cold. So even though there's an overshoot, I'm still expecting prices to most likely test this break a new low. So they're just kind of moving sideways right now, though. Man, it feels good to have gotten good sleep. I mean, being tired just sucks. I don't operate very well tired. For the past few days, I remember thinking, I was like, man, I'm like stretched pretty thin right now. But I think that was more a product of just being tired, not really getting good or enough sleep. It's like, yeah, you can operate that way. You can get stuff done, but like you won't feel great doing it. It's a trade-off though, because you lose time. So we're struggling to reach these overnight lows here. Came up short of both sides. So we came up short of the highs, and now it looks like we're coming up short of the lows a little bit. Okay, so I've got this the YouTube screen like up to my left to see like, oh, like is there anybody watching, or like, but like it doesn't matter. So I'm actually gonna like just minimize this, and if somebody is watching, they're watching. If they're not, then they're not, and who cares? I didn't even check to see if Apex was working.
Order
so
submitted.
Check that out. Looks like it is.
Order canceled.
And yep, so I've just got the daily chart up here on the other side. So I've got 2 monitors. Looking at the daily chart, we're making a double top or triple test actually. Close. It's really a double top, but it looks a little bit like a triple test. So you can't see this chart, but we had a major uptrend, a few legs down, and then you had an uptrend with a break and a new high, where the retest trend has a break and new high. And now we're making a little bit of a double top right there. So we're definitely in prime spot to turn down. That's not to say that's what prices are going to do. It looks like they're kind of going more sideways than anything. Definitely not too much that you can derive from the daily chart right now. Okay. Now back to this chart. Maybe my uptrend here was correct after all. And you get a break and a new high with this little bit of a congestive area. We get a short-term downtrend that either breaks out of the lows or they're a little bit lower here. Not sure, not looking for a trade right now. I did say I am looking for this break and new low. So overall, that's my target along with these overnight lows right now. But you can see prices are definitely struggling to get there. I'm not interested in this bar because it's kind of like a breakout of the support level. Maybe this isn't a true range, so I'm looking at this a little bit differently right now. So let's see, maybe this was a break and new high, and then this is like a lower high now. But I'm sort of uncertain. So I'll mark that as a, green trade. It's one that fits my criteria, but I'm too uncertain to take it, and that's okay. Maybe I'll look back later and say, yeah, I should have taken that. Let's find out. Let's also see, what are you going to be pushing here? Yep, you'd be pushing through that support a little bit. So I had something like that drawn, and that's why I was scared of it. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to study that one later. But clearly it does look like there's a downtrend, overshoot, a slight uptrend with a break, a new high, and then you get a lower high. I think overall I was just scared of that support. Should I have been? I don't know. We will see. That is probably one of the better trades that I've seen in the past few days. So now the downtrend has a break and new low. So I'm thinking that prices are probably going to reverse here. Reverse to the upside, I mean. Looks like there's a downtrend of some kind working here. And we are really continuing lower here, so this is a pretty strong downtrend right now. So as I mentioned with these highs, we didn't reach the overnight highs. So as we were coming to the lows, I was expecting there's most likely going to be a break of them. So it's possible that this range is completely dismantled now and we are going to continue lower. I want to see if I draw off that spike in channel that I had from earlier. It's possible maybe something like that is correct. I'm going to remove this downtrend because it doesn't look like it's helping you. And let's see if that comes into play at all. Definitely a possibility. I don't think I would have had enough information there, even with this like spike in channel. So you would have had like 1, 2, maybe like 4 touches there, but it still doesn't feel like, I mean, with this trend right here being so kind of proven, I don't think that I would have had enough information to say, yes, I should be playing, you know, some kind of spike in channel there. Looks like prices are trying to find some support in that area though. They would have gone a little bit further there. Clearly a short-term downtrend working down. It's probably a little bit tighter like that. So with this such a strong downtrend right here, I'm definitely looking for a measured move down. Looks like we're getting pretty close to that. Yep, pretty close to that measured move. This spike in channel doesn't look like it's correct. Looks like this is all just one break and new low type trend right here. There's a good chance we come back and test these overnight lows, but this is also a really strong downtrend, so we might not. If we reach this measured move, and it looks like we're going to, then chances are I'm not going to be looking for a setup short anymore, at least until we get a full correction. So let's just see what happens. So we reach this measured move, so we have 2 legs down. You can clearly see those basically 2 perfect measured legs right now. Let's see if we're able to push past that measured move or what's going to happen here. So this is, yeah, just kind of not sure what to expect now. I'll bet you Mac marks this one though, most likely. So one place, even though you've already made 2 legs down, this was a really strong leg. You're probably going to get a retest. So if we get like 2 perfect legs back to the EMA here, I'll probably still take that. But you know, I will be taking a risk. So like, let's say we do get that setup. We do get these 2 perfect legs back to the EMA with a good signal bar. The risk is we've already made 2 perfect legs down. We might not continue down anymore. But the thing is, like, this was such a strong downtrend right here, even though it is the second leg of this one, you're probably going to get a break and new low of this. or you're at least going to get a nice attempt, most likely. That's what I think. So let's see if we're able to get up here. So right now it's setting up just how I'd like it. You have a short-term uptrend, gets a break. Now I'd like to see a little new high come right back to the EMA with a bearish bar. That's what I'm hoping for, at least. Rarely do things happen like I hope, though. And we're moving down. So this is now not exactly what I'm looking for. So this looks like a nice attempt right here at that new low. And we're getting pretty close to it. Here we go. And we've reached it. So not even able to play out here. That's some strong selling right there. There might even be a wider downtrend going on. So let's see what happens there. Maybe. Something like that. Yep, let's see if we continue to work down this downtrend. We are getting pretty far from the EMA. As I said, there's a good chance we come back to test the overnight lows now that those are broken right there. It's unfortunate to get all this movement and no real setups. There's this setup, like I mentioned earlier. I didn't feel great about this one because of this support down here. Clearly there's some support there, so that's why I wasn't feeling great about that. Again, something I'm going to have to study later on to see if maybe that's something that I should have taken. I don't know. Continuing to work lower. This is looking really strong. I know I really shouldn't have like a bias of direction long term, but I would love to see the market just sell off like hugely. Just so I can, you know, with longer term accounts, buy in at a good price. Looks like this downtrend is not correct, and this was just a break and new low. So now everything has played out to the downside. I'm not really expecting a break and new low of this short-term downtrend. So if we get a short setup, I'm not going to take it. Not right now, at least. Maybe you get something like that. Looks like it could fit. You are kind of cutting this bar a little bit, but it still closes inside, so I don't mind that at all. Let's see what it would have looked like here. Don't know. Let's put it there, just see. Getting a short-term uptrend here. You get a good signal bar off the EMA. I'm not taking that one. Just kind of one leg back right there. Maybe you could say, yeah, it's a hidden second entry short where like it looks like 2 legs back, but you just had a break and new low of this. You've already had your 2 legs down. Just not going to take that. Not going to take that one. If I'm going to take a hidden second entry or something like that, it's going to have to be in really good context, and this one's pretty not great context. So looking at this, thinking, when might I be willing to take a short? There's a few scenarios. If this midline continues to hold, so like let's say right now we're pushing up and prices are looking for that break a new high of the short-term uptrend. If the midline continues to hold like a trend line would, maybe I'll be willing to take a failure here. Now, if the short-term uptrend plays out and then you get a really strong push below the EMA and a lower high, I might be willing to take that too. Those are the two setups that I think I would be willing to take now, but you know, it sort of depends. The most ideal scenario is that, or would be that prices come all the way back to the main trend line. So all the way back to this main side right here, they reject, and then you get a nice lower high or failure or something off of the EMA. That's my like perfect ideal scenario. But at least like how prices are going right now, like I said, the two setups that I might be interested in are a break a new high of the short-term uptrend and then a lower high, or maybe a failure here if this midline looks like it's going to hold. So let's see what happens. There's a possible setup. So we have the short-term uptrend. We have the first attempt at a new high. So I'm looking for a possible second attempt at a new high coming off of the midline in the EMA. Again, you're getting pretty far down here. So it would be a little bit risky. I'll point it out. It's a little bit risky because you've already made these two measured legs down. This downtrend already has a break and new low, but clearly this uptrend is struggling to play out. Like this should be easy. This uptrend should clearly just easily be able to be like boom, 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 new high. It's not what you're seeing though. We're continuing to move lower. So this is a pretty strong downtrend here. And how about this bar? Let's take a second to talk about that one. So the reason that I wouldn't be interested in this one is because this is just the first attempt at a new high whenever I'm expecting a new high of that short-term uptrend.
Order submitted.
So let's see. We might actually get a setup here. It's looking like we might do it. We might actually get one. And the signal bar doesn't qualify.
Order canceled.
That's 3 ticks right there. So you can see that's 3 ticks from its low. So I'm not interested. But we're getting close to something that I might want, you know? That's real close. Looks like the midline's holding right there. It's coming off the EMA. Anyway, the second entry short. This looks like something that Mac might mark because it's clearly you have a strong down bias. It's a good signal bar off the EMA. It is a little bit congestive though. Like I said, this downtrend has played out. You made your measured move down.
Order submitted.
I don't know. Let's see about this one. So it is looking a little bit congestive here. And prices aren't rejecting off of that midline quite like I wanted. But we might get some rejection down. So we'd have to see a pretty strong move down here. Looks like we're going to keep pushing higher. All right, close above there.
Order canceled.
So expecting prices to come back to this main side right now. Let's see, we might end up finding some resistance there. Might get some kind of measured move up. Let's see what happens. So it looks like 2 legs down now, so an uptrend, 2 legs down, and then now we're working towards this second leg up. I'm going to mark this because I want to look at it later whenever I'm studying. Just as ones that fit my criteria. So this one also fits my criteria, so I'm going to mark it just so I can remember to look at it later. So again, expecting prices to now come back to this main side, watching to see what happens once they reach this measured move up, because that would be 2 broader legs up. I'm not convinced of this downtrend yet, but there are 2 perfect touches on the opposite side and a few touches on the main side. So just gotta wait and see what happens. I wonder if this hit 1-to-1. I think it did. I brought that one too far. Where should it go? Right there. Looks like you would have just barely gotten out for 1-to-1 taking that trade. Okay, so we've hit the measured move up. So you've clearly made 2 legs up, going a little bit further right now. Okay, how are prices going to react off this trend line? Let's find out. The setup that I'd be looking for here is prices to reject off of this trend line and then come down and make some sort of like failure below the EMA. It looks like prices are going to close up and through this trend line, and it is not correct. Can I just go ahead and remove that there? Draw 2-tiered trend on this one. So you can see it looks like the midline is in play here. Prices are coming off the opposite side potentially there. And it looks like we are looking to test the old, or I guess this old support that is the overnight lows. This resistance didn't end up coming into play. So you can see if this uptrend continues to hold here. Let's see. Looks like it is, so that's probably a valid uptrend. So now I'd be looking for a long. If we get some sort of pullback to the EMA with a good setup, that's what I'm looking for. So this uptrend is clearly holding now, and I'm looking for a long off the EMA. Expecting prices to test the overnight support, the overnight lows, to look like some sort of range support earlier from a double test and a double top right there. So let's see what happens. Definitely a more interesting day than yesterday. Yesterday was incredibly boring. I was like, for one, I was tired, and then 2, it was like super slow price action with like no possible setups. Like at least this one has like a few where I'm like, okay, like I almost took at least one setup there. All right, so it looks like we're about to get a break of this uptrend. I'm hoping for a two-legged pullback to the EMA. Mine was wandering a little bit there, so I got to pull it back on the prices here. Clearly getting a short-term downtrend here. Just like a tiny little pullback right there. So ideally what I'd like to see is a close outside of this, and then a move down, and then a nice signal bar off the EMA. That's what I'm looking for. Looks like prices are finding some support in this area. So even better, you know, if prices end up closing outside of this short-term downtrend, getting that nice signal bar off the EMA, then it could also be a slight like fail breakout of this support level, which I would not mind at all. There might be a close outside here. Sort of uncertain. I would say most likely there is a close outside. So I'm looking for a new low of this short-term downtrend. Also looking for a break and new high of this uptrend and for prices to come back and test this breakout area. So those are my two targets right now to the upside. But I'm expecting first that prices will most likely test this low. It's not 100%, but they very well might. Looks like they might test this high first. Clearly getting some sort of congestive area here. Looks like we're getting a little micro range right there. Highs, there's only one test, so it's sort of unconfirmed, but this support is clearly confirmed. Hoping for a breakout, which would create two legs down and a nice signal bar off the EMA. That's what I'm looking for right now. Let's see if we'll get it. Looks like we're headed towards that breaking new high. Price is clearly moving sideways in this congestive area right now. So again, looking for this breaking new high, looking for prices to test this breakout. And let's see, we might get a setup that I'm looking for here. So what I need to see is prices on the next bar to break below this bar and then close 2 ticks or less from their high. So it's looking like we might get something
submitted.
here. So I need to see prices break below this. That's not the tool that I was looking for. Here we go. Prices break below this right here, this low, and then close close to their highs, 2 ticks or less from their highs. That's what I'm looking for. Doesn't look like you're going to get it. No such luck is what it looks like. Support might be a little bit lower. Maybe something like right there.
Order canceled.
Uncertain. Clearly continuing to move sideways. This might be a little bit of a failed breakout. So like, you know, if you do keep it right here where I had it, maybe this is a failed breakout and we're going to move higher. Clearly the support's holding. Resistance questionable. Gonna remove this measured move. It didn't actually end up helping. Tighten everything up a little bit. Okay, we're headed towards the measured, or not the measured move, but the break and new high of the uptrend. So let's see, are we going to be able to push through this resistance area? And looks like we're turning down. Coming back, test it again. And we're moving up and out of the resistance. Looks like we are about to, if not have already, hit the break and new high. We're real close right now. Real close. Double top. And break a new high. Okay, so I'm no longer looking for longs. Expecting prices to still test this breakout right here. And after that, we'll just have to see what happens. So we might turn down, we might not. Going right on up there. It's been pretty clear price action so far today. I mean, you have a double top, double bottom on the overnight extremes. Uptrend gets a break and new high. You turn down, there's a minor downtrend, gets an overshoot leading to a break with this minor uptrend that gets a break and new high. Then you get the retest trend, strong short-term downtrend, creates a perfect measured move. Prices bounce there with a short-term uptrend. They did not get a break and new high because the short-term downtrend was so strong that it gets its own break and new low. You get a short-term uptrend that gets a break. Prices attempt to go higher. They can't do it. Not yet, at least. And then on the second attempt higher, they do reach it. There's a uptrend that gets a break with what looks like 2 legs back. So it's kind of like a choppy 2 legs back. You can see one, and then you break that short-term downtrend. You get the break and new low. It looks like a choppy second leg back. Then you get a break and new high of this uptrend, and look at that, to the tick, you turn down off of this prior support area. It's pretty perfect price action. Not perfect, but pretty perfect. So we're coming down to test this breakout now, the breakout of this range. So we tested this one, we turned down, now we're testing this one. Not sure if we're going to turn up. Maybe we'll end up coming right through here. And we are turning up to the tick off of that resistance level. Now possibly holding a support. That wasn't a very strong close on the bar. Ended up closing like a doji, which doesn't tell me, yes, we are going to take off here. coming back to test it again. We are about 1 hour into the trading day. Still have about an hour and a half left. Okay. Getting a strong short-term downtrend here. I'm leaning towards shorts. I want to see what happens at the support level. What's going to happen? Pushing right through there. How are we going to close? Let's see, let's see. Might be overshooting the short-term downtrend. We're getting pretty far down there. Looks like we're going to close below the support. Looking really strong. Okay, so my guess is that we are going to continue lower now that we've turned off of this breakout. So you can see we turned up, or we turned down off of this old support area, now holding as resistance to the tick, and we have a strong push away. So my guess is that we're going to trend lower, but I'm not trading my guess. I'm trading what I see. So I'm waiting until there's an actual setup. We pushed through this support level from earlier. So what that tells me is it's probably not valid anymore now that we already have a failed breakout. So I'm looking for a short off the EMA right now. That's what I'm waiting for. See if we'll get it. And now if we do get a short, it's not the best area. It's not the worst, but it's not the best area. There's a little bit of confusion here. So you broke out of this range, you came back and you tested it, and you do have a strong push down. So I'm expecting a break and new low of the short-term downtrend, and this is a strong rejection off of this level. That's not to say we might not continue higher and enter back into this range still. That could still happen. So it's not like you're trading a very strong trend right now where like you're just trying to hop on board. It's like this is not the perfect area, in my opinion. But there could still be a setup. Getting a strong short-term uptrend here. Pushing up and closing right through the EMA. So now that we did this, I'm not really looking for shorts anymore. What I was hoping for was a nice rejection off the EMA and for prices to continue lower, because that's predictable. But now it looks like we're just flip-flopping the EMA. Look at this. We were under it. We were over it. We held it, but then we're under it again. Now we're over it. That's it's kind of really just sideways action right there. So let's zoom back out here and just wait for something a little bit clearer. So I'm not paying like super close attention right now, but there's not really anything that I'm looking to see set up. I'm just kind of like chilling, just kind of waiting. So I have two screens in front of me, and one's like kind of off to my left and one's kind of off to my right. And the one that I'm mainly looking at is the one to my right. Originally I had my microphone off to the left, so I was like talking away from the microphone. But I moved it so it's centered. It's like right in between both the monitors now. So hopefully it sounds a little bit better. But I'm still like looking a little bit away from it. So like I'm still looking off to the right for the most part. So I'm not like looking like dead into it. So right now I'm looking dead into it. And then right now I'm looking at the screen a little bit to the right. So I don't know if there's an actual like difference in the sound. I'll have to listen back and see. Also might have to adjust the gain. I don't know. It's all a work in progress. Nothing I'm really looking for here. You have two conflicting break and new extremes. So you would expect prices to reach this break and new low right here, but they're trading up pretty strongly. And so you'd also expect a break and new high of this short-term uptrend. So you're kind of just like caught in between a rock and a hard place. Not sure which one they're going to hit. Not sure if they're going to hit either one. Prices are looking really sideways. Oops, I had to sneeze there. And look at that. So they hit the break and new high of the uptrend. So now, okay, maybe we get a strong push below the EMA and we get a setup below the EMA and we continue lower. I don't know. This is all pretty uncertain of a spot right now. And just kind of gotta sit on your hands. Just gotta wait. Wait and see. I think a lot of people have problems with patience. Sometimes I do. For the most part, patience isn't really my issue. My issue, for the most part, I think, is just finding the right trades to take. And I have no problem waiting. I mean, this is day 5 or 6 so far of not taking any trades, which I think might be like my record. So maybe, I mean, shoot, maybe I'll just keep not taking any trades. Maybe I'll just keep watching. I mean, who cares, you know? I'm kidding, of course. Like, I would like to take a trade. And if one shows up, I'll take it, one that I really like. But at the same time, it's kind of fun, you know? I mean, not fun, but it's it's kind of funny. Like, just being like, yeah, you know, I went blank days without taking any trades. It's nice to have that kind of patience. But I just need to keep honing the skill so that way I can use that patience in a productive way. So prices are looking really sideways. Nothing to do. Just waiting for them to trend in one direction or another. I'm not interested in trading this sideways action. I get chopped up in it. I don't do very well. Just gonna wait for something clearer. Seriously. Just moving sideways, clearly chopping sideways. You can see something that I look for with congestion is a big bar. So you can see right here, there's this bar. And then within the highs and the lows of this bar closed within that. This bar closed within that. This one closed within it. This one closed within it. This one closed within. This one closed within. This is the first breakout side. But clearly that's like, I mean, that's congestion right there. Whenever you're seeing prices stack within one another, that's congestion. That's something that I'm looking for a lot of times. Not to mention, you know, all the dojis. Let's see if there's anything else interesting on the chart right now. I don't really see anything. Nothing too interesting. It's all been pretty clear though. Pretty clear price action. Until now. Now it's getting real sideways and choppy and unclear. Looks like this range might have expanded down here a little bit. I keep saying today how I slept great and I'm not tired, but watching this price action is making me sleepy. There's nothing going on. Nothing for me, at least. We're breaking the range with a short-term downtrend. Let's see, we might just end up folding into a larger range based off these highs and these lows. I'm going to check out Mac's midday chart from Price Action Trading System. That's my trading mentor, Mac with Price Action Trading System, and he posts a midday chart at around 10:30 each day. So I'm going to check that out, see what he's seeing, and see if it matches what I'm seeing. Pretty much dead on. Yeah. The only thing different is he's got this so it's not an overshoot. He's got this so it's pulled out a little bit wider, like this. But I really like that as an overshoot. It's the only difference that I see. Yeah, recently I've been doing really well with getting the trend lines the same as him. I'll find that during some periods I'll get it like dead on over and over and over, like very often. And then there's some periods where I don't get it quite as close. See, I lost my one viewer. To be honest, I don't really care if anybody watches this. It's not really the point. I mean, if some people do, that's great, but at the same time, I don't really believe in learning from live trading. I don't think that, like if anybody does watch this, like you're obviously not watching the chart as close as you should. So like it feels weird, it's like I'm putting out like a product that I don't personally believe in. But that's not the point. I'm not doing this so people can learn. So it looks like we're making our way towards a measured move down. We broke out of this range, so I'm expecting prices to come back and test this breakout. But we're just continuing to move down for now. Looks like we might have a break. Close outside. I would say we probably do have a close outside and a new low now. So it looks like if you draw that real tight, you got a close outside and a new low, moving towards this measured move. Just nothing to do here. Legs are getting smaller. So you start out with this big 2 legs down, and then you get a break, a new high that's a little bit smaller. Wow. That was a loud scream out there. Some kids, I guess the neighbors. And now these 2 legs are even smaller. So it's like bigger, a little bit smaller, and then even smaller. So the price action is shrinking. What does that mean? I don't know. There's less volatility. Prices are converging. Yeah. Okay, we're continuing past this measured move, and it looks like there might be a slightly larger downtrend going on. Maybe it's like this. Maybe we'll get a short after all. If we get a nice pullback to the EMA that looks like a good setup, I might take it. But we've clearly made this 2 measured moves down, and there's some buying going on right here. So we'd have to continue to hold this downtrend for me to be convinced that it is going to have a break a new low of its own, and it's not just a second leg of this one. That's what I'm hoping for. Anyway, hoping we'll just continue to trend down. I mean, that's makes it easy to trade. But I don't know if we'll get so lucky. Shaping up to be another day with no trades. Can't remember what day this would be of no trades. Let's see. Let's check out how many days I've been live streaming here. So 1, 4. So we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is day 6. And there's one day, so it's the 7th. Yeah, 7th video, but one of them was only a 3-minute video because whenever I got on, my internet cut out. So it's day 6 right now of no trades so far. I mean, I'm not to say that there won't be a trade. There very well could be. A lot can happen in an hour and a half. So we broke this downtrend. It looks like this one is not correct. It looks like this is just 2 legs down considering where we bounced, and this is probably just a short-term downtrend with a break and a new low. So nothing to really do here. You clearly have 2 legs down. So let's run through all the past price action that's happened today. We have a double top at the overnight highs, double bottom at the overnight lows, creating this range. Short-term uptrend that gets a break, a new high, playing out. You get a downtrend that has a break with 1, 2 legs up, and then you get a second leg down that's basically a measured move of this leg right here. So you have 2 legs down right there, and now you move higher off this double bottom. So we're moving higher. You get a break with a short-term downtrend. It gets a break and a new low, and now prices move to the new high of this uptrend. Exactly what you'd expect. You get a short-term downtrend that gets broken by some congestion, finds some traction on this trend right here, and it gets proven with this third touch. Price is failing to come back to the EMA. So you can see prices are failing to come back to the EMA. It means something are probably pushing prices down right here. And that's correct. It's this trend line. Short-term downtrend turns up, and then you come off of this opposite side of the trend again, but you overshoot it just a tad. Prices are trying to come down to this overnight low support, causing them to overshoot this trend. You then get this uptrend. It gets a break and a new high, leading to a strong downtrend, and this downtrend is attempting to reach the break and new low of this downtrend right here. After they do that, you get a measured leg down with this very strong downtrend. So if you measure this whole entire leg, you can see we get pretty much exactly that right here. But you have 1 leg up, the short-term uptrend, which breaks this downtrend. And the reason why you get a break and new low here is because this trend was so strong. Even though it's a retest trend, you don't always get a break and new low of a retest trend, but this was such a strong downtrend that you do end up getting one. Now you get a short-term uptrend, 2 legs back, and then now you're moving higher. And prices generally will test breakouts after they do it. So you can see we broke out of the support area and now we're coming back to test it. So you have this uptrend that gets broken with one leg, and then that one leg down gets a break and a new low. So even though this is sideways action, you can see it looks like 2 legs down before you get a break and a new high of this uptrend right here, testing the breakout to the tick before you get the strong sell-off right here, rejection off of this old support level that's now holding as resistance. Now you get a short-term uptrend that gets a break and a new high, creating a triple test, showing there's probably some congestion here. You're stacking within this bar right here. So you're stacking within this bar. You have that triple test, so you can clearly see this range. You break the range with a short-term downtrend. It gets a break and a new low, and now you're moving sideways at the measured move. Oops. Now you're moving sideways at the measured move, so you can measure this leg down, and you get basically an exact measured move down. The short-term downtrend has played out, and now you're just moving sideways and there's nothing to do. Just gotta wait until some structure appears that is tradable. For me, the sideways action is not tradable. I'm waiting for some sort of trend, and then I'll be looking to trade that trend. So again, pretty clear price action for the day. Still nothing to really take for me. I think the best trade has been this one right here, where you can see there's this downtrend that needs to break a new low. You have the break and new high of the uptrend and then a lower high below the EMA. The reason that I didn't take this in real time was this support area right here that I was worried about. So I had a range drawn right here. So I had this range drawn, and I was worried that you were taking the breakout of this range. Also, if you draw this for 1-to-1, which is what I trade for, and I might have been off a little bit there. Let's see. No, that's exactly right. So if you do that, you're pushing right into the this double bottom overnight support. So those are two things that really concerned me about this trade, but this is the best thing that I've seen all day, and I would not be surprised if Mac, the guy who I'm learning this from, this strategy, Mac with price action trading system, I would not be surprised if he marks this one. Other trades that might be of some interest, maybe this one, but I'm really not interested in this one. It kind of looks like a hidden second entry short, so a hidden 2 legs back, but really there's just 1 leg back. This downtrend has already gotten a break and new low, so I'm not very interested in this one, but this trade could be of interest. The reason that I wasn't interested at the time is 1, it's very congestive. There's lots of stacked bars right here. 2, this downtrend already has a break and new low. 3, you do not have a break and you don't have a retest of this support area. That's it. Oh, 4, the short-term uptrend right here does not have a break and new high. So this short-term uptrend doesn't have a break and new high, which is what I'm expecting. So those are all the reasons that I'm not interested in this trade. So I'd say in order, most interested in this one, second would be this one, and then third this one. And those are the only real areas on the chart that I see that like are actually within my rules and somewhat of interest, even though I don't really I don't really love any of them. Okay. Looks like we might have some sort of spike in channel working down. This is pretty uncertain at this point, but you can see there's clearly these 2 tests here and possibly 3 tests here. And we are down to a little bit less than an hour left before I'm hopping off. I trade from 9:30 a.m. Eastern time to 12 p.m. Eastern time. So we got a little bit less than an hour here. This day so far has kind of flown by. I'm also comparing it to yesterday, which did not fly by. It looks like where we're bouncing right now is pretty close to the overnight lows from yesterday. So if you mark these overnight lows from yesterday, you can see that's like basically exactly where we bounced right there. So possibly some support coming in from the day before. Continuing to move sideways. Looks like we broke out of this little range and we're coming back to test it. Is this spiking channel going to hold? Is it valid? I don't know. Let's find out. If it is, do I want to take it? That's the second question, because you're about to get a second entry short, potentially, off the EMA. It looks very uncertain right here. I'm not certain of this downtrend. You already have a breaking new low of this one. You've made 2 legs down. It's pretty choppy and sideways. I would not take this one, but someone might. Maybe Mac will. I don't know. So assuming you get a good signal bar here, I'm still going to pass that one up. It's looking really choppy right there. Look at all those stacked bars. It's like if I get rid of this right here and draw with this bar, you're stacking with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bars, all closing within this bar right here. Sometimes maybe you're still willing to take that. Like if this was a really strong, super confirmed downtrend, maybe I'm willing to take that. But as is, no thank you. And I'll bet some people got trapped there. I mean, it hasn't actually broken up above this one yet. I mean, who knows if it will. But I would bet that there's a good amount of traders that took this second entry short right here. So just continuing to chop sideways. Looks like we are breaking out of that little congestive area. And maybe the spiking channel is correct. It could be. Just not enough evidence for me, personally, to take this one. So that does fall within my rules, though. It breaks above the previous bar, and then it closes 2 ticks or less from its extreme. Man, it's getting real boring. This is really choppy. There's nothing for me to do in here. Looks like the spiking channel might be holding though. Hopefully it does. Hopefully prices just end up just dropping down from here. Who knows? Maybe, maybe, maybe. Maybe. And we are moving lower. So it very well might be correct. Moving lower pretty quickly too. Let's check it out. I don't really think that something like that is correct. It could be, but you're skipping a lot of price action right there. So like you don't have any touches all the way through here, so that skips a lot. But the opposite side looks like it might fit, so I'll check it out at least. Okay, so I'm back to looking for a short now. So if we get a nice setup off the EMA, I'll take it. Not entirely sure where prices are, but they're clearly down biased at this point. Get rid of that. It's looking like this is the more correct trend, even though I didn't really think so at first. And maybe even this one is not correct. Let's just watch and see. Clearly this is a strong downtrend. You have a short-term downtrend that has a break and new low. And yeah, I mean, the bias is down, we're moving lower. This downtrend might be correct. If we get a good setup off the EMA, I'll probably take it. I don't want to miss the forest for the trees though, so I like to keep my chart like zoomed out until I'm ready for an entry, so that way I can really know what's going on. Looks like there might even be some sort of larger downtrend here, like maybe a major downtrend coming down. Definitely a possibility. Just waiting to see what this pullback is going to look like. I gotta get like a fidget spinner or something. I've been, anytime I'm bored trading, I've got this this clear ruler that I've been playing with. Just like flipping it around, spinning it around and stuff. So I'm not a consistently profitable trader, and I was thinking the other night that like I used to be like really worried about that. I was like, I'm really, I really want to be, and don't get me wrong, I still want to be, but I used to be like, oh, there's this time limit and I need to get there in like a year or two or whatever it is, and it really doesn't matter. Like, there's no time horizon. The market will always be here as long as you keep learning. Eventually you'll get there. The fact that there are people out there who can do it means that it can be done. Like, you put that up against something that like people have never done. So you look at someone like something that, what really made me think of this initially is Jeff Bezos. So like you look at him building Amazon, or you look at Elon Musk building Tesla or something like that, where stuff has like never been done, never. And someone went out there and said, I think this can exist, I think I can do it, and they did it. So you compare that to trading, where there's so many people out there who have done it. Like, so there's a lot of people out there who have done it and can do this and are putting out information on how to do it, literally teaching you how to do it. And it's like, the amount of people that then go and say, this is impossible, I can never do that, like, that's outrageous. If other people can do it, you can do it. It's just a matter of time. Okay, we're actually getting some sort of pullback here. Let's see. Short-term uptrend. Congestive area which prices are still in. And there's this little short-term uptrend right here. So let's zoom in. I'm pretty confident in what's going on. Clearly there's a down bias. Maybe this downtrend is correct. That part I'm not sure about, but I have a feeling I'll find out here in just a second. It's still possible that this spiking channel that I had drawn was right. I mean, like, maybe that's right. Definitely not out of the question yet. This looks really messy though. I hate whenever I have two trends like this and I'm like, I don't know which one's right, and I have them both drawn. It really bothers me. The thing that I like about the spiking channel is you're not skipping so much price action. Like with this trend, you're skipping so much price action. And initially it fit better off the opposite side. But now that there's this little like overshoot type deal, it doesn't fit quite as well. But anyway, it looks like prices are gonna prove what's the true trend line here in just a second. So we're getting a breakout pullback of this congestive area right now. Let's see if this is able to hold and prices go higher. What I'm hoping for is for a short-term uptrend with a break right here. I'm assuming we're going to have this break. A new extreme, which either confirms this downtrend or confirms this downtrend, and then a nice lower high below the EMA. That's my ideal setup right now. Will you get it? There's like a 1% chance you get that. I don't know. I just kind of pulled that out of my ass. I don't know what the chances are, but it's low. There's definitely a low chance that you get that. Could happen though. Okay, we're moving towards this breaking new high. Looks like it. So are we going to turn down at this first downtrend? Or are we going to turn down at the second one? Or are we going to turn down at neither one? Okay, so we still haven't quite hit this breaking new high. Still haven't quite hit that. Prices are chopping a little bit sideways here. Let's see if we'll turn down. Not interested in a setup here, even if there's a good signal bar. Or at least I'm not interested in this one because there's not a good signal bar is what I should have said. This one doesn't tick higher than this previous bar, and that's one of my criteria. The rules you can see over here. It's funny because I can't actually see the rules. Like they're not actually on my screen. Like I put them on there on the recording software, so I can't see them. But whoever's watching can. Okay, you've ticked higher now. Still haven't quite hit this breaking new high. Oh, never mind. You hit the breaking new high. So it looks like you're moving pretty strongly up and through here, and this downtrend is most likely incorrect. Could you trade down really strongly here?
Order
Sure,
submitted.
and I'll put an order in just in case you get that, but I'm doubting that that's going to happen. And chances are this spiking channel is the correct one, or neither one's correct. It's definitely possible neither one is correct. Yeah, that's not. Nope. Yeah,
Order
that's not gonna happen.
canceled.
So right now the setup I'm looking for is a turn down off of this trend line and then a lower high below the EMA. That's what I want. I bet there's so many people that it would bother that I'm like cracking my fingers like this. Maybe you're one of them. Okay, it's looking promising. Let's see. So far, this is pretty much exactly what I was looking for. Short-term uptrend, gets a break, and a new high. Now let's see if we'll turn down. Ideally, we'll turn down here, and we'll get a lower high below the EMA. If I was taking trades above the EMA, then this would be very tempting. This one right here, because it is a second entry short right off of what looks like a trend line. So I'm not taking trades above the EMA. Like I'm not taking, we might close
Order
below.
submitted.
No, not quite.
Order canceled.
Okay, so looking for this lower high now. But yeah, again, rules are here. I'm looking for shorts below the EMA and off of it, and longs above the EMA and off of it, with signal bars that close 2 ticks or less from their extreme. So 1-2 ticks less from their extreme, and have to break higher or lower than the previous bar. So in this case, it broke higher than the previous bar and it closed exactly on its lows, but it closed above the EMA, so I'm not going to take that. What I'm looking for is a lower high that closes below the EMA now. That's what I want. And so far it's looking promising. Just gotta wait and see. You don't always get that confirmation. Still just waiting for this lower high, if there is one. Prices are looking a little sideways. What I really wanted to see was a strong push through the EMA. It's not what we're getting yet. Not to say we can't get it. We might pick up some steam here. Definitely looking a little congestive. So if we get a lower high here, we're gonna have to be careful, because there's about to be probably 3 stacked dojis. It's congestion. All right, I'm going to zoom out, double check what I'm seeing here. So clearly, range, breakout, you pull back. There might be a larger downtrend here, and this spike in channel might be correct, that prices are bouncing off of, though I'm still not certain of that one. So if we get a bearish bar here, I'm on the fence about it. The higher we go, the better I feel about it, though. So
Order
put an
submitted.
order in. Nope, I definitely don't like that. That's a doji all the way.
Order canceled.
look at all that congestion, lots of stacked dojis. That's indecision right there. What you would hope for are for prices to push off of this trend line to show that it's correct. So like a nice push below there. But this is some real indecision right here. It's not to say you might get a little like failed second entry right here, in which case like maybe I'll be willing to enter, but man, this is a lot of sideways action. So maybe that's what we'll get. Maybe we'll get a failed second entry. Don't know. Looks like prices might just leave without us. Without me, at least. Maybe it'll give me a chance. See if this will tick higher and give me a nice bearish bar here. But it's still so sideways. Like even if it does, like man, this is a lot of sideways action going on. And I'm tempted to say, oh, well, I haven't taken a trade in so long, so the next trade I have to take it. But that's like just so not true. Whoops. I dropped the ruler I was playing with. Well, we're methodically working lower, so maybe the trend line is correct, but for some reason, like, I feel like it should be turning down, like, stronger here, if it is. So I feel like we might just, we might break it soon. We might turn up and break that possible trend line. Got 30 more minutes of trading. If it keeps on like this, I'll be excited for this one to be over. Not as excited as I was yesterday to be over. Yesterday was like watching paint dry. And whenever I say that, like sometimes I think like, well, you know, why am I doing it? Like if I'm so bored, like why not just go do something else? But I don't know. I really want to achieve this goal. Okay, so let's say we get a lower high here with a nice signal bar off the EMA. Do I want that? I don't know. I don't know if I do. Could have something like this working down. You'd have to see a tick higher, come off the EMA, a nice bearish bar. Still, this downtrend might be correct, but like we're really struggling to go lower. Looks like we're still finding some support off the same like level that we were earlier. I don't know. It's not going to set up how I was thinking that it might anyway, but yeah, I don't know. Looks like this little downtrend could be correct. And you can see the reason I'm not interested in that one, you know, among other things, is because this bar doesn't break higher. It's also not off the EMA, so, you know, plethora of reasons. Actually not sure if that word is pronounced plethora or plethora. I think it's probably plethora. Sounds more correct. So like even if we come off the EMA here with a good signal bar, like it won't even be a failure. It'll just kind of be this like lower high in like a congestive area. But we might come off of this downtrend here. So like let's say if we tick up and we get a nice bearish bar and it's like also off of this downtrend, you know, that could be a different story. It could be pretty interesting there. It's not perfect though. So okay, if I take this, am I taking it because it's a good trade? Or am I taking it because I want to take a trade? That's
Order submitted.
the question. I think this downtrend's correct. So I think you're looking for a break and new low of this. This downtrend is maybe correct, but it looks like we're going to close through here. Nope, nothing there.
Order canceled.
So now there's maybe a break. Also just looks really sideways. Yeah, I don't even know if that spiking channel is correct. Like it doesn't look super correct. I think in order to be correct, I would have had to have moved down a little bit there, like a little bit more. So I'm just gonna play it as if it's not. Maybe this one was correct after all, this downtrend. Maybe that's the right one. I don't really know. Regardless, there's nothing I'm looking for here. Lots of movement, lots of bars today, especially compared to the past couple days. Unfortunately, nothing I'm really interested in. I don't like that downtrend either. This doesn't look right to me. I don't like it. Maybe it's just wider. Maybe it's like that. Maybe that's the true test right there. Or maybe it's already broken. Maybe that's the breaking new low. I don't know. I kind of have to just see how it plays out. Then I'll be able to tell. I can tell you that range is not correct, but this resistance might come into play later. Looks like 2 legs down right there. A little bit further. 20 more minutes. Until possibly day 6 of no trades. Ugh. Okay, we got this little move up, little short-term uptrend. If this downtrend is correct, it's very concerning that prices are not trading further down before coming back to the main side again. Just throwing that out there. Okay, maybe we're turning down off that trend right there. I didn't even talk about why I wasn't interested in this one. Well, it's just one leg up, and I'm unsure of this downtrend. So, like, maybe if we get some sort of, like, a lower high, creating, like, a second entry, I might be interested. But not off this bar. Not really. Fits my criteria, though. So, like, okay, we'd have to come, you know, get a little bit of a confirmation type of deal. Like, a little, you know, coming back here one more time before going lower. Well, we are moving lower here. Just a little bit. Slowly but surely. I said this yesterday, I'm going to say it again. I can't imagine trading back in like 2015, whenever the market was like, the ATR was probably like 1 on average, and it was so slow, and oh god, it was probably tough. Well, it looks like that one would have worked, but I don't think you can enter that. At least I don't think I can. Like, I wasn't sure enough of this downtrend, because it could easily just be this. Like, it could be like tighter like this, where there's already a break and new low, and it's only one leg back, so like it's sketchy there. I'm feeling more confident in this uptrend or this downtrend though. But still, like, why can't we come to the opposite side? Like, is this really that weak? It was strong enough to turn this short-term downtrend right here without getting a retest. So that's saying something, but like, we keep coming off of this main side here. Maybe we'll get some type of failed second entry here. Now this downtrend's like pretty confirmed for me. Maybe I'd take that. We did see like a series of setups similar to this the other day, like where there was like it was just like one after another, all like kind of off that like one same trend line.
Order submitted.
Where prices weren't coming to the opposite side. So maybe. Let's see. Nope.
Order canceled.
It looks like, okay, so what might have happened here? Maybe this downtrend was correct, like initially. And this is the break in 2 legs to a new low, because this is a strong uptrend. It could be the case. That's a very strong uptrend. Okay, this is what I'm leaning towards. That's what I think. Final answer. But not really. I mean, I guess I could change it anytime, but I'm feeling kind of confident in that one. So if you look, pretty much every trade with the criteria that I'm looking for would have worked out. But there are those days where every single one of them would have not worked out. So like, you can't just like blindly take it. And I know you can't blindly take it because I've tried. It's not a good way of trading. I was recently thinking though, like, okay, everybody knows like you can't just like blindly take every second entry, like you're gonna lose. So like, what if you took the opposite of every second entry? Like, if you're gonna lose, if you did that, like, it's like basically a sure thing that like, yeah, if you blindly take every second entry, you're gonna lose. Then like, what if you did the opposite of each one? Like, doesn't that necessarily mean you're gonna win? You know, so like where you're gonna put in a buy stop, you put in just a sell order. Or like, I don't know. Just a thought. I haven't tried it, but I don't know. Also, I was thinking I'm pretty good at determining what second entries are not going to work. So like, what if I just took the opposite of all of those? Just an idea. Like, whenever you're in a congestive area, for the most part, like, you don't really want to take second entries. This one does end up working. Let's see if there's any examples. Like here, first entry, that's a second entry. I'm all over that. I can be like, yeah, and you know, obviously you don't want to take that one. So what if you just took the opposite? Like, instead of buying right here, what if you just put a sell order right there and bought where your stop would have been? That'd be easy money. What about this one? First entry. That's a second entry. This one would work though. How about this? First entry. second entry, that one would have worked too. So yeah, I don't know. It's probably not a good way of trading. I don't think you can, the thing is, like, I don't think you can mechanically trade like that as much as I'd like to. So we might be turning off this major trend that I have here, but you might also have just closed above it. So it could be like a little bit wider, maybe. Could be something like that. So let's see. Let's see if this ends up turning down here, or if we just end up plowing higher. This is a plowing higher. This is a strong short-term uptrend that is now broken. So you really expect to break a new high here. So if prices are able to turn this right here, that would really confirm this major downtrend for me. Like if this turns down and like this uptrend is not able to play out, that's a strong sign for me. So like let's say we come up here and we test this again, and then we get like a nice like lower high under the EMA. That's golden. It's like back in the day, I used to think, oh, if I could just follow my rules, I would be profitable. And so I really optimized for discipline and following my rules and really built up that muscle. And now I can do it. Like I can just follow my rules. I have no problem doing that. But I'm still not consistently profitable. And I think that a lot of people think that. Like I think a lot of people think like, oh yeah, if I just blank, 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 then I will reach it. It's just not that easy. But it does make me think, okay, so is there a system out there that like actually the psychological portion of like people like not being able to follow the rules is like what holds people back? Because that is like a lot of people's issue. So, you know, maybe if I start trading that system, I don't really want to switch systems or anything, but like, you know, everybody says that. I just don't, you know, like that. You see it all the time. Like, oh, if I could just not get in my own way, if I could just like not over trade, if I could just not take trades that are not within my rules, then like, yeah, you know, then I'd be there. And that people say that all the time. I think they're just wrong. I think people just can't read the chart. At least that's the case for me, because I thought that like a long time ago, like 2 years ago. I was like, oh, you know, like I'm basically there, but I just, you know, sometimes I'll take the oddball trade that like doesn't fit within my rules, and that's it. That's what keeps me from being profitable. And it didn't end up being the case. And I just wasn't good enough. So it's looking like this downtrend, the major one, the big downtrend, it's looking like this one is correct with how price is pushed below here. So if you get some sort of failure, I wouldn't want to take a lower high. It's moved too far for a lower high. But if you get like a second entry or a failure type of deal under the EMA, I'd probably take that. So I'll stick around and I'll wait for that setup. If that sets up, even if it's a little after 12, you know, I'll stick around for a second to see if that happens. If not, I'm up and out of here, and that's going to be another day. Prices might just continue down here. kind of sucks. I mean, for a day with so much movement, it was all pretty clear movement, that there's just no trades that I can take. And I've tried a few different things. So I at one point I was trying to take higher lows and lower highs on the 500 tick, and it actually, like, it was going all right, because like there's a bunch of times on this chart where like I'm pretty sure what's going to happen, but there's not a setup on the 2000 tick chart. So my thought was like, okay, well, if I take a higher low or a lower high on the 500 tick, then maybe I'll be right more times than I am wrong. If I just wait for good context situations on the 2000 tick and then I enter on the 500. That's what I'm trying to say. And that didn't end up going terribly. I think I did decent. Like I think I was either break even or I might have made a little bit of money. I don't know. But then I started thinking about it and I was like, well, like I'm trying to kind of create something here, and like I already have a system that I know works with Mac's system. Like it's proven over a long time. So I was thinking, like, do I really want to switch things up? So I just came back to doing good old reliable pats. Here we are. But then there's days like this that make me think, like, maybe I should look for my own little entry technique. And there is a soapbox where Mac talks about that, where he says once you can read this chart, you can find your own entry techniques, but you need to be able to read the chart. And like right here, like I did pretty well at reading the chart. So like after this breaking new high, I was expecting prices to probably turn down, and after this trend broke, I was expecting a new low, but there just wasn't an entry I was interested in. And after this one broke, I was pretty sure prices were going to hit a new low for that too. After this ended up playing out, this area I was a little bit uncertain here, because it looked like the downtrend was going to continue, especially after this short-term uptrend didn't really play out. So maybe I would have gotten tripped up here if there was something that maybe I was interested in, especially if I switched to some other system. But here, you get the breaking new high. It's pretty obvious that prices are going to turn down off of this level. And there's just, I feel like more times than not, whenever there's areas where I'm pretty sure what's going to happen, like I end up being right, but there's just not an entry. So it's like I'm waiting for like two unicorns. Or not really. Like I think that I'm more often going to find a contextual area where I'm pretty sure what's going to happen and be right than I am for a setup to occur. Well, that's not true, because setups occur everywhere. It's really rare for both of them to occur simultaneously. I wouldn't be surprised if Mac marks one of these, though. Like one of the ones that I pointed out, like one of these green trades. I would not be surprised at all. But I'm just like, I'm not certain there. Like here, this one's super congestive. Even though I thought the prices were probably going to head lower, like just way too congestive. And I wasn't entirely sure of this downtrend yet. But then there's areas where I am completely sure, or I don't know, quote unquote, completely sure. Like I said with this downtrend, like, but then again, this one already had a measured move, so I wasn't completely sure there. This one had an overshoot, so you're not always going to get a break new low, and you were close to the support area, so I wasn't completely sure here either. So where was I sure? Here. I was definitely sure here. Like, I mean, clearly uptrend, break new high, clearly off of this level. Right there, I was definitely sure what's going to happen, but there's no setup for me. So like, this is the type of area where if you went to like the 500 tick, maybe you'll have a lower high where you can take that. But you're gonna get chopped up there a lot of times doing that. So don't know. Just figuring out as I go. But these rules, I'm pretty sure I can be profitable with these ones. I have in the past, at least. Maybe, okay, so I'll wait for this. I was about to say I'm going to hop off, but there's clearly a short-term downtrend here. And questionable whether there's a break, but you might get like maybe a failed break out of this congestive area to head to the break new low of the short-term downtrend. So I'll wait for that setup, and then basically after the short-term downtrend plays out, whether there's a setup or not, I'm just gonna go ahead and head out after that. Okay.
Order
It's definitely
submitted.
possible. It'd have to be a pretty small signal bar because I wouldn't want to push too far past this. Ideally, I wouldn't want to push this support level at all, but I'd be okay with pushing it just a tad if this is a real small signal bar here. It's looking like it's probably going to end up being too big, though. You're pushing that a lot, even if it ends like right there. Pushing that a lot. Let's see, maybe there will be another one right here, but I don't know.
Order canceled.
It's possible. Okay.
Order submitted.
So like, let's say we come up and we tick above this, and then we get a nice bearish bar, like kind of ending like right around here. Like, yeah, you know, I might be interested in that. It's looking pretty sideways here, though. And this is probably already too big of a bar for me. Yeah, again, you're just pushing too far past that support level. I don't think I want to do that. I don't think that sitting
Order
here
canceled.
after waiting like 6 days, that's the trade that I should take. All right, that's it. That's it for me. Time for me to go.